Hello YouTube and welcome to another album review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2012 release by Fear Factory entitled The Industrialist, which was released on June 5th of 2012. This album is a lost album to be released through Candlelight Records. Last year Fear Factory announced that their new album Genexus will be released through Nuclear Blast Entertainment, and I'm very stoked to hear the first single off of the new album, which will be released on August 7th. And Fear Factory mentioned that Genexus is a mixture of The Manufacturer, which was released in 1995, and Obsolete, which came out in 1998. Now, 3 singles are released off of The Industrialist. Recharger was the first single that was released on April 24th. Mussiah came out on May 30th, 2012. And The Industrialist was released on August 28th, 2012. And I'll read the track lists off the Industrialist. So the tracks are The Industrialist, Recharger, New Mussiah, God Eater, Depraved Mind Murder, Virus of Faith, Difference Engine, Disassemble, Religion is Flawed because Man is Flawed, and Human Augmentation. And on the deluxe edition, the bonus tracks you get are Blush Response Difference Engine Remix and Landfill. And the deluxe edition clocks in at 57 minutes and 7 seconds. And the standard edition clocks in at 48 minutes and 45 seconds. Now, what do I think of this album? This album is an awesome release. This is an album that I can always listen to over and over again. And I'll listen to this album every once in a while. This has to be my third favorite release from Fear Factory. The first release that I really enjoy a lot is Obsolete. And then my second favorite Fear Factory album is Archetype. Now, this album is interesting because there's no drummer on the album. It's all programmed drums. So I wonder if somebody used a drum machine in the studio for this album instead of having a live drummer record drum tracks. So The Industrialist kicks off with this interesting sound before the sound of clean guitars are heard, and then you hear I believe it's Burton C. Bell, the vocalist, talking. And after a while, the guitars pick up the pace, and so the drums, and play this interesting riff. And then towards the end of the track, you hear Burton's vocals do this interesting style of clean vocals. And it's not, vocals when he's singing in a medium pitch tone. It's kind of like lower, like it's interesting. It's he's using the vocals like at the same tone that I'm talking right now. Like he's not raising his voice or anything. But there's a lot of, he does this screams on the track, and it's incredible. I highly recommend checking out The Industrialist because it's a fantastic song. And then Recharger has this interesting riff that kicks off the track. It reminds me of something off of The Manufacturer. I love the clean vocals on this track. It's very catchy, and the chorus on Recharger is my highlight of the song. New Mussiah kicks off with this interesting sound that fades in slowly, and then this riff comes at you. This nice guitar riff that follows the drums, the bass. And this track reminds me a lot of something off of Archetype. It's very slow, and not slow, but the next track is slower than this one. And the next track is God Eater. But on New Mussiah, the chorus is very catchy, just like on the chorus on Recharger. And that song, the new Mussiah, has clean vocals once again that Burton C. Bell provides on the chorus, each chorus of the song. So that's really cool. And then God Eater kicks off with this interesting synthesizer. And then you hear a faint sound of piano playing high-pitched notes. And then the guitar follows those notes that the piano is making. And then you hear Burton's vocals in this low, clean vocal tone. And it seems to me on God Eater that the guitars are in this nice, low, and crisp crunch setting. And I wonder if the band used 8-string guitars on this track, because it's very heavy, and it's one of my favorite songs off of The Industrialist. Depraved Mind Murder kicks off with the guitars playing this nice riff. It's slowly fades in. Well, it doesn't fade in, but it's in this interesting high pass filter effect. And then you hear what sounds like I wonder if it sounds like a piston from a car making this mechanical machine noise, and then the drums kick in, which is really interesting. And even though there's no live drummer on this album, someone who's doing drums for the album, and it's all a drum machine, it's all good. It doesn't bother me. I really enjoyed the drums a lot on this album. And the drums on this album actually remind me a lot of the drums off of the Obsolete album and Archetype. I'm curious to figure out and know what the drums are going to sound like on Fear Factory's new album, Genexus. Very, very excited for that album. That's one of my anticipating albums of 2015 at the moment. And the clean vocals, once again, on the choruses of Depraved Mind Murder are fantastic, along with the previous song, God Eater. Both of them are good songs. And Virus of Faith, which kicks in right now, which is playing at the moment. It kicks off with this interesting, it sounds like a guitar effect. I don't know what it is, but it's really cool. I really like it a lot. But towards before the chorus, if you listen to the song on headphones, it sounds like one of the earphones are gonna go out, because you hear the guitars, drums, and bass on one earphone, and then they'll switch to the next one like quickly, and then that's when the first verse starts. But the choruses on this song are fantastic, and it fades out with this interesting guitar lead and this nice haunting and dark sound of keyboards and this interesting strings effect. And that's one of the darkest songs off of the Industrialist. I really enjoy it. Difference Engine, which just started playing right now, kicks off with this interesting, sounds like a synthesizer, and then the guitars kick off, the drums kick off after. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. I'm just getting ahead of myself as I'm reviewing the tracks. And then you hear Burton, he screams, "Here he comes," something like that. And then this nice guitar riff starts playing. And then the guitars that follow the drums. At the moment, it sounds something that reminds me of the track off of Archetype. But this is one of my personal favorite songs off of the Industrialist. And you hear the nice keyboards in the background. It's just a phenomenal track. But what is very, very catchy is the nice sound of clean vocals towards the chorus effect. The chorus of the song. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. It's just keep mentioning chorus effect and so on. But as meaning was chorus of the song. So, and in Disassemble, you hear this sound of the guitars and the effect, like in this interesting high pass filter effect, and then the drums will follow what the guitars are doing, as double bass is concerned. But during the verses of the song, you hear this interesting sounds like a synthesizer from the keyboards. But it sounds like something that you would hear on a Skrillex song. It's not dubstep. It's like, it's hard to explain, but it's like a synthesizer that plays while Burton C. Bell does his vocals on the verses of the track. And then the interesting part about the song is that what I like about it is towards the very end, there's clean vocals, and then the song cuts off because number 9, religion is flawed because man is flawed. It starts where the previous song left off, but it's slower. It's in like a 3-time signature, but number 9 is about around a minute long, and you hear someone whispering to me, like the phrase "to me," not like over and over. But while the guitar, you hear the crunch guitars, just like playing. You hear the sound of the clean guitars doing this interesting riff. So, religion is flawed because man is flawed. It just leaves off where the end of Disassemble left off. However, number 9 it's slower than the end of track 8. So, and it's interesting because track 10, and this is where it gets a bit disappointing, and hopefully, I hope and pray that Fear Factory's new album Gen X is not like this album. I love this album, don't get me wrong, the Industrialist is good, but this is where I take points off. Because Human Augmentation, it's 9 minutes and 4 seconds of just nothing but mechanical machine sounds, and it sounds like the guitars, if you were to play like a string of the guitar and hold down the whammy bar at the same time, and it's at a really, really low pitch where you can't hear what note you're playing, especially if you're playing like the low notes, like the low E note of the guitar, electric guitar, and you have the amp at overdrive, full gain, and have the whammy bar down. That's what it sounds like on Human Augmentation. It's really, really low. The guitar, it's hard to understand what it's doing, but over the guitar noise you hear machine sounds, and then you hear whispering in slow motion. That's all it is on Human Augmentation throughout the 9 minute 4 second track. And if I was getting ahead of myself, let's start over again. I'm reviewing all the tracks. I'll probably review this album later in the future, do re-review. So, don't mind if I end up getting ahead of myself during each track that I just reviewed. I think everybody does that when they do a review of an album. However, if I were to give the Industrialist a rating, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10, and this is why. Human Augmentation on the album. I'm not going to review these bonus tracks, I'm just reviewing the standard edition. So the album deserves an 8 out of 10 in my book because human augmentation is where the problem starts. And it's cool, don't get me wrong. I understand this is a concept album that talks about the story of like a robot. Don't get me wrong. Human augmentation, I could sit through 9 minutes and 4 seconds of just machine noises and guitar that's just sounding like you just started up a vehicle or something. Like it's really it's like in a low pitch effect, and you hear someone whispering throughout the whole track. But that's why I give the album an 8 out of 10. And everyone has their personal opinions on this album, and so do I. So let me know what you thought of The Industrialist in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. My favorite tracks off of this album are The Industrialist, of course, New Mussiah, God Eater, Virus of Faith, and Difference Engine. I'm just thinking of the other songs on this album that are my favorite. But yeah, thank you for tuning into this amazing review for The Industrialist by Fear Factory. Once Fear Factory releases a single very soon, I'll do a review for it. Track review. Hope you all enjoy your Sunday evening. Have a great day and God bless.